Hello there, and you're welcome to another episode of your most watched business show in the country. This is the Business Weekly Show here on Citi TV, and my name is Michael Obodu, your host. In the next 60 minutes, I'm bringing you highlights from the world of business. So if you're ready, let's go. The business community in our country is feeling really worried about the three new revenue bills that have been passed by Parliament. The concern is that if these bills are implemented, it will spell doom for the private sector. Instead, businesses want government to concentrate on making sure that everyone is paying the taxes that are already in place. They figure that if more people comply with the current tax laws, it could bring in more revenues without having to implement new bills.
Parliament has approved three major tax bills targeted at boosting the sustainable generation of domestic revenue for the country. The bills are the Excise Duty and Excise Tax Stamp Amendment Bill 2022, the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2022, and the Growth and Sustainability Levy Bill 2022. The taxes are projected to complement the government's efforts to raise more than 4 billion Ghana cedis annually. But the business community, led by the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, says they are worried that the government's efforts in seeking an IMF bailout coupled with the passage of the bills will gradually destabilize the private sector.
As is always said, the private sector is the engine of growth of every economy. Therefore, its importance cannot be overemphasized. So the government should create an enabling environment that will ensure the growth and sustainability of the private sector rather than overtaxing businesses out of their effectiveness. The government should not sacrifice the survival and development of the private sector for the sake of the IMF program. The efforts of the IMF to support our national economy will amount to nothing if it ends up destroying local businesses.
President of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, has however urged the government to rather focus on ensuring tax compliance on already existing taxes to rake in more revenue.
But what the government fails to do is to adopt an effective and pragmatic system to ensure compliance with tax payment, as well as rope in all other businesses, entities that have not been captured into the tax net. In fact, there are many leakages in the tax system which lead to abuses and need to be sealed to forestall tax evasion and other related abuses. We still register our disapproval of those new taxes and hereby appeal to His Excellency the President to reconsider our concerns and please revisit the issue.
Meanwhile, some other business associations and companies have lamented the dire impact of the passage of the bill. Importers and Exporters Association, Exim Foods, Chamber of Automobile Association, among others, want the government to engage them.
It has never happened in this country that a government passes a policy or a tax bill. They have Chamber of Commerce, Ghana National Chamber of Commerce raising red flags. You have AGI raising red flags. You have GUTA raising red flags. You have Food and Beverage Association raising red flag. You have Import and Export Association. You have GIVE. You have ACHAC. You have QBAC. Clearly, business community are very wild, and I'm quite sure if this petition gets to His Excellency the President desk, he will definitely make time out of his business schedule to meet with the business community before anything can be done.
Guess what? We've got some good news about fuel prices. There has been a slight decrease in the prices at the gas stations. Apparently, various outlets run by oil marketing companies have already updated their prices to reflect this change during the first pricing window in April. My favorite OMC is even selling as low as 11 cedis 69 pesos per litre. Even though we would want more reduction, we can only be thankful.
Nana Kweku Frimpong has been in the commercial bus business, popularly known as Trotro, for a while. 3 months ago, he made sales of 200 Ghana cedis to the owner of his vehicle, but following the drop in fuel prices, he has had his sales increased to 240 cedis. Nana Kweku Frimpong tells Citi News that this has not significantly affected him due to the drop in fuel prices over the past few months. He believes if the trend continues, it will be beneficial to his finances.
The fuel prices are now above from a year compared to 3 months. But it's a home kakra by so yes, we point you might mean a kakra coffee. And Pammy me say, I'm 200, but I started above from the Macau as you see all the 40 cities account. 240 cedis a day. But fuel prices are above from 90. First on the board.
There are other consumers of petroleum products who share in the concern of Nana Kweku Frimpong. They say a decline in fuel prices will go a long way to alleviate their plight as they will make enough savings.
Because beneno bale ha bene me amade ha keke wanyesi ke hane hekwejo ya konge lole lo ehe mahiamo lo isane ohe lo ka bale si ha wo jine mango wanya.
For the third consecutive time, the prices of petrol and diesel have witnessed a significant drop going into the first pricing window of April. Just 2 weeks ago, a litre of petrol, which sold as 12 cedis 95 pesos at leading oil marketing company Goil, for instance, is now selling at 12 cedis 65 pesos, while diesel, which sold at 13 cedis 49 pesos, is now selling at 12 cedis 84 pesos. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, believes the drop in fuel prices was to be expected due to the fall in price of crude oil on the international market. However, in an interview with Citi News, Head of Research and Training at COPEC, Paul Eric Ofori, hinted that fuel prices may begin to increase in the month of May due to the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC's decision to cut down on production.
It is our expectation that if the managers of the economy are able to work around and have the cedi, gaining some strength against the US dollar, FOB prices are still reducing, even though OPEC has announced some form of production cuts, and that should not affect us in the next pricing window. Perhaps the month of May, June, thereabout, that is where we should see those things, those cuts reflect at the pumps.
With a consistent drop in fuel prices, passengers say the time has come for transport fares to also see a reduction.
Now I pay from here to Pram is 20 cedis. But previously it was 14 cedis. So when it was things increased up, it was 22 cedis, right? And it came to 20 cedis, but still it's dropped. The fuel is dropping, so they need to still go down for us.
But the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, JPRTU, disagrees. The group says it will only consider a reduction in transport fares if the price of spare parts and insurance policy, amongst others, which they say have shot up in recent times, are reduced. Abbas Moro is the Industrial Relations Officer for the Ghana Private Road Transport Union.
Insurance policy has gone up by around 41%. Local government, all the assemblies are under the local government. The park, tolls, permits, renewal of commercial driving license are also gone up. So we normally have to consider all these things before coming up with anything on the lorry fares.
Hey, did you hear about the latest news on LPG prices? Apparently, the LPG Marketers Association is saying that if prices continue to fall on the world market in the coming weeks, consumers may see even further declines in the cost of LPG at the pumps. In fact, prices have already dropped by about 5% as of Monday, which means that the current cost per kilogram of LPG is at about 12 cedis 40 pesos, down from last week's price of about 13 cedis 20 pesos. And get this, it's actually the third time this year that the price has gone down.
Right, so this is a 14.5 kilogram of gas cylinder, and it is widely used in the various homes for domestic purposes. Some years back or some months back, I'm sure you wouldn't fill this particular cylinder not more than 100 Ghana cedis or at most 150 Ghana cedis. Well, times have changed now because you have to cough out more to be able to fill the cylinder to the brim. Let me just run by you the cost of the 14.5 kilogram of cylinder. It says that 198 Ghana cedis is what you will need to be able to fill the 14.5 kilogram of cylinder for use. This trend has been attributed by stakeholders to the falling value of the local currency over the period. However, in the past 2 months, the price of LPG has been declining, with a recent price adjustment pegging LPG at 12 Ghana cedis 40 pesos per litre from the 13 Ghana cedis 20 pesos per litre price the commodity was sold for weeks ago. With the first pricing window for April taking effect, the price of LPG has seen another marginal drop by 5%. This decline in monetary terms is almost 2 Ghana cedis on a litre of LPG. Stakeholders like the LPG Marketers Association says the drop is as a result of a decline in the price of the commodity on the international market. However, Gabriel Kumi says the hope of seeing a further price decline of LPG depends on the gains the local currency makes against other foreign currencies.
We are just hoping and praying that government will continue to hold the strength of the cedi against the dollar. So far, for the past 1 month or so, it's been relatively good, though it's not where we want to be. But I think government has really done well over the past 1 month in strengthening the cedi. We want to encourage government to continue in that fight. That is the only way, because the price of crude oil on the international market, we can't control it. Okay, the price of finished product on the international market, we can't control it. The only way, the only element, the only area we can control is our cedi. So once we keep improving and strengthening the cedi.
Despite the marginal price decline, consumers do not seem happy about the trend. This consumer has been left with no choice than to fill his 14.5 kilogram cylinder in bits because he can't afford to fill it in full.
I just feel 70 Ghana cedis of gas right now.
Is that full?
No, it's not full. Maybe, I'm not sure it will even reach half of it, but it's because I don't have, and the price is too expensive too. Like in the old days with the 70, I could feel almost the full, but now, yeah, I can just afford maybe the half or something like that.
But with this one, how long are you going to use it? How long does it last when you fill 70?
It depends. If I cook a lot, like I can, maybe it can keep me like 3 weeks, but if I don't cook, maybe I can go over a month.
Another customer whom I spotted at the filling station was also concerned about the cost of LPG in recent times.
If you owe the Ghana Water Company, please ensure you pay up as soon as possible to avoid any disconnections. The utility company is on a debt collection exercise and it is leaving no stone unturned.
The Ghana Water Company Limited has commenced a nationwide revenue mobilization exercise to recover all arrears owed by customers. According to the company, due to hikes in the cost of chemicals and other products, the aim of the operation is to recover monies in order to improve upon water supply services in the country. Prior to the inception of the project, the Ghana Water Company Limited warned that paid-up customers must leave their payment receipts behind when leaving their premises to avoid wrongful disconnections. Also, customers who have paid via mobile money or other electronic means will need to show SMS or electronic payment receipts as proof of payment. As part of the exercise, teams have been deployed nationwide. In view of this, on Wednesday, the Managing Director of the Ghana Water Company Limited, Engineer Dr. Clifford Bremer, joined the Nungua District Revenue Mobilization Team to visit some defaulting businesses in the enclave with the target of retrieving a sum of 4.7 million Ghana cedis on Wednesday of all arrears owed by customers. First, the Mobilization Task Force visited the Waka building system, where the director promised to pay the following day. Next was U-Fresh Company Limited. The company got disconnected over non-payment of water bills worth 163,000 Ghana cedis. Printex owed a total of 3.4 million Ghana cedis, of which the JWCL recovered 1.7 million Ghana cedis. The Ghana Water Company Limited recouped 38,000 Ghana cedis from Qatar Company Limited out of the 220,000 debt the alcoholic beverage business owes it. The managing director of the Ghana Water Company Limited, Engineer Dr. Clifford Brahma, addressed the media.
It's not just about getting the money immediately, but also getting the education to the industries as to the reason why they have to pay. We had some challenges in September where the new tariff came, and we did some recategorization. And I've been telling them, when PURC calls you for the stakeholder consultation, go and concentrate on areas that affect you directly. This review you are going to do, how much are we going to pay per cubic meter? But if Ghana Water Company is giving out our costs and reasons why we are asking for 334%, and you are telling me it's so high, and I am telling you the reason why it's supposed to be so, we'll end up and you will not have what you need.
Management of the Ghana Water Company Limited entreated customers to cooperate with the teams as they undertake the exercise in an effort to collect and mobilize the much-needed revenue to improve water supply service in the country.
Managing director leaving his office and coming down to customer care assistance level to really interact with the customers and then to experience the challenges they experience. It's one of the learning points that you will never get anywhere. Because if I didn't come out onto the fold, I'll only be taking stories and reports from them. But today, I have interacted directly with them, and I've seen how tough some of the customers are. They will want to give all reasons why they should not pay. And so, being the managing director, I become the ultimate authority. And so, if I am unable to push them to pay, then that's all. Nobody is going to get them to pay.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Water Company Limited has debunked claims of indebtedness to the Electricity Company of Ghana, terming it as a case of miscommunication. ECG in a media report alleged that the Ghana Water Company in the Volta region owed it 17 million Ghana cedis for power consumption.
There was miscommunication elsewhere. Our regions do not pay for the production centers of Ghana Water Company for electricity. The headquarters does, and the regions are responsible for the payment of the office premises and accommodation, which they have been paying. And so if there are arrears on the region for a particular system, it has to be at the head office. And the head office also is being catered for through the ESLA. Some of the production centers' electricity are being paid by government through ESLA. And when they pay through ESLA, then we distribute the credits across the production centers. So all the regions will get the credit. So if they do not come to their head office and they sit in the regional levels, they will be misrepresenting the issues. And so the 17 million that they were talking of in Volta region and threatening to disconnect them, it was unnecessary.
You know how people always seem to be telling Ghanaian graduates that they are lazy and need to start their own business instead of relying on finding a job? It seems like entrepreneurship is the big buzzword these days, with politicians talking up the idea of creating environments that's more conducive for young people starting their own companies. But what's the truth of the matter? If you're a recent graduate who's thinking about striking out on your own, what kind of reality can you expect to face?
I would be biased towards female entrepreneurs in this report. Don't be offended. After all, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, during her visit here last week, campaigned for women entrepreneurs.
Women are entrepreneurs, yet have limited access to capital and markets. And there are many factors that impact a woman's ability to survive and thrive, One of those is economic empowerment. And when we lift up the economic status of a woman, let's be clear, we lift up the economic status of her children, her family, her community, the entire economy benefits.
So now, meet my case study for female graduate startup owners.
So my name is Akusia Sichajukum. I'm a chemical engineer by training. I went to Holy Child, did general science. Then I moved to KNUST to do chemical engineering.
Akusia is one of 90% of Ghanaian graduates who struggle to get employment after national service, as shown by research.
I had the opportunity to work, to do my national service at Ghana National Petroleum Corporation. So I was trained as a petroleum engineer. I had the opportunity to work offshore, the FPSOs for a while. And then I branched into shoemaking. I tried to get a job, but actually searching for a job in this country is a full-time job. I gave up after a while and then just decided to concentrate on learning the skill, the shoemaking skill.
I met her while she worked on some products for her clients. If I hadn't seen her make them, I would have thought these were made in footwear destinations in the West that many Ghanaians boast of owning. Akusia should be proud of herself, but she tells me sometimes she regrets taking this path given that the system here in Ghana is crushing.
The system will stifle you. The system is set up it's to make you fail. So if you, in Tree, we have a word called reinforcement. So if you are not determined that I'm not going to fail, or even though we fail, I'm not going to back out or end it or close down my business, as has happened to a lot of businesses in the past year, you close your shop one day and never come back.
What exactly in the system is crushing businesses? The founder of footwear fashion brand Nuisa Shoes tells me more.
Prices of goods go up every day. So let's take last year, for instance. If I go to town to buy a gallon of glue, let's say for 200 cedis in the morning, by afternoon, by the time I go back, the price has probably changed. Or the next morning. So it's so unpredictable. The system is so unpredictable. I can't price this shoe for 400 cedis on Monday, and someone will ask me for the price on Friday, and I'm telling it's 450. What has changed? I need to explain to the customer, okay, the local shoes are too expensive. Let me go for the foreign shoes. Maybe those are probably second-hand shoes, but the price is lower. So it affects me. Those who can come and buy the local shoes will rather opt for the foreign shoes because, well, they have what we call economies of scale. They are producing in huge quantities. It's mechanized. This is handmade. And for a shoe, I'll sell for 350 cedis here in Ghana. The same shoe will probably be selling for 350 USD online. So I'm affected. It really worries us. So the economies of scale, production is high, electricity is high, cost of materials is high. Charlie? The system is something else, honestly.
Recent power outages have compounded Akusia's woes. Her pace of work is now determined by the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG. Globally, the footwear industry is worth $15.3 billion. It is projected to be worth $19.86 billion by 2028. With Africa's growing population, this is an area to tap into. But Akusia decries the lack of support for startups like Nuisa Shoes.
Banks are not set up to support startups. Banks are set up to support existing businesses. They have to see evidence that you have made it. Oh, okay. Oh, you have a radio station here, then they're ready to give you a credit. Not somebody whose name is not known. And then I walk to a bank and I want you to give me 50K. What are you using it for? Oh, I want to use it for brand awareness. I want to use it for marketing. How do you intend to pay? Because, you don't know me. There are shoemaking brands that have been there longer than I am. So I'm a startup. I'm now trying to brand myself. I'm now trying to position myself. So if I'm doing brand awareness, if the money goes into brand awareness, it's not going to come probably within the next 1 year. It will take a while for me to establish myself, set my feet, and then the returns come. Which bank is ready to give you that? How are you going to pay that money? It's tough.
So has the government helped entrepreneurs like you?
No.
Because we heard of some Ghana Cares or Batampa project, there's some youth starts, there are so many government initiatives going on.
I am not a beneficiary of any of them. I'm not. During the COVID time, they asked us to apply for NBSSI. I haven't heard a word. I didn't get even a text message, so I don't know. Maybe others have benefited. I haven't.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris was right. Female entrepreneurs need all the funds they can get.
The United States of America will work alongside our partners each and every day to close gender gaps here and around the world. And ultimately, our belief is that the empowerment of women is rooted in the concept of freedom, not just freedom from violence or want, but freedom to create one's own future, a freedom we desire for all people.
Hopefully, the fine speeches will translate into sustainable support sooner than later. This is because not only is the crushing system frustrating young entrepreneurs, many of them have their families pushing them to Japa, that is, to relocate entirely from Ghana to pursue their dreams where the grass looks greener. And that is the current dilemma of Akosua.
The Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry is teaming up with the World University Service of Canada for a 5-year women empowerment project that aims to encourage more women to pursue TVET-related professions. The project, funded by the Canadian government, seeks to empower and provide growth opportunities for 1,000 marginalized young women to explore male-dominated TVET careers in Greater Accra, Sekondi Takoradi, and Greater Kumasi. As part of efforts towards encouraging more women into TVET-related professions, the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, in collaboration with World University Service of Ghana, are currently running a 5-year women empowerment project. The project, dubbed Innovation in Non-Traditional Vocational Education and Skills Training, is funded by the Government of Canada through Global Affairs Canada. Part of the objective of the project is to build sustainable pathways to enhance economic empowerment, well-being, and inclusive growth for 1,000 urban poor, vulnerable, and marginalized young women to venture into male-dominated TVET careers within Greater Accra, Sekondi Takoradi, and Greater Kumasi. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of a graduation for some beneficiaries of the program, CEO of the Chamber, Emmanuel Cherry, expressed confidence that the program could help bridge the gender gap in the construction sector.
You see that most of our young ladies, they shy away from construction industry associated jobs because of the think if I should become a mason or carpenter or a welder or electricians or what have you, I am going to do this and that and that. But today you can use new technology to do the same jobs that manual has been doing in the past. So because of this, now the space has been opened for the influx of women. So for us to at least take the break that particular chain, the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, in partnership of World University Service of Canada, has collaborated to give training, hands-on skills training to our young ladies from age 15 to 35 in this particular fields for them to be able to at least use the modern type of equipment to at least achieve the same labor work that was done in the past that normally scares them away. So today we are celebrating our young ladies because if we should match them to electrical installation, solar installation, you'll be surprised. They are climbing pole as well, but they are using modern technology in doing same.
Partner of the project, World University Service of Canada, reiterated its commitment towards encouraging more women into male-dominated sectors.
The INVEST project is a 5-year initiative that's funded by Global Affairs Canada. It is our interest to create streamlined pathways for young women to be able to access male-dominated trades. And so we do a number of initiatives that look at creating an enabling environment so that young women can enter into the labor market. And then we look at pathways around self-employment and then also wage employment via technical skills training. So today's program is a graduation ceremony for 203 graduates who have undergone 6-month intensive technical training courses in 3 project regions, Accra, Sekondi Takoradi, and then Kumasi. With approximately 10 training providers, both formal TVET institutions, within enterprises or industry, and then also through apprenticeship with master craftspersons.
Some of the beneficiaries shared their experience.
Oh, the experience has been fulfilling so far. What inspired me was to gain skills in male-dominated trade areas, to do something productive in the male sector. Yeah, so the training that I received helped me to gain those skills. Like for programming, for instance, we know it's basically men that do those things. They do the programming, the coding, and those stuff. So as a lady partaking in such an activity, it has given me some empowerment that I can even do what men too can also do in that field.
Taught me my training. I had 6 months in the classroom. That is education side. We did English and other stuff. Then 3 months internship at the practical field. There we worked with males. We worked together with the males. Then our boss said, after our practicals, when we were done with the attachment, he said, the way we come to work, like our commitment to the work, he really wants to work with that. So he maintained 2 of us. Actually, we are still working at his place.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. Citi TV, it's your world.
Still on employment-related issues, and the Deputy Lands and Natural Resources Minister, George Mekuduka, has been talking about how the government wants to use gold resources to help fight joblessness in Ghana. He says government is committed to making this happen, and one way of doing it is through the Community Mines scheme. In fact, just recently, government commissioned a mine in the Memphis West municipality of the Western region that already is employing over 1,000 people. According to Mr. Duka, this community gold mine scheme, along with other small-scale gold mines around the country, has already created over 1 million jobs. And that is a big deal because it's not just the major mines that are doing the hiring.
I hand over a copy of the small-scale and community mining operational manual.
The Community Gold Mines Initiative was created as a desperate solution to end illegal mining, generally referred to as galamsey. Its original intention was to regulate the environmental destructive artisanal small-scale gold mining. 18 community mines have been established in Western North, Eastern, Ashanti, Ahafo, and Upper East regions, and it has so far become one of the major employment generation avenues in the country. Speaking to Citi News on the sidelines during the commissioning of the Wassa Afransia Community Gold Mines, Deputy Lands and Natural Resources Minister George Mekuduka disclosed that thousands of jobs have already been created from the gold resource through the community mines.
And people are so enthused and are ready to, in a way, work. And how do you create job opportunities? Is by taking advantage of what you have. And we are endowed as a country with natural resources like gold. So how do we then leverage on the gold for people to benefit responsibly? So this is a way or mechanism that we're using to regularize the small-scale mining sector. Once we've opened or commissioned, then the Minerals Commission will have that mandate to come and direct them as to the norms, and also to know the employment opportunities that this concession is creating. As I indicated, it's creating no less than 1,000, employment opportunities, and that is great. How many companies around could create or 1 million jobs. It's very rare to come by. So it's a great opportunity for the people of this area. What I'm urging them is to mine responsibly, follow all the rudiments in mining. I know the officers around will direct them to do so, especially reclamation, that wherever they mine, they need to reclaim the land.
He further added that government intends to outdoor more community mines as long as it satisfies required environmental conditions.
If we assess, we go through your document and the place befits that purpose, why not? We will get it commissioned. And that is why we're here, and that is why the commission was established by law, and that is why Parliament and all stakeholders are there. We've also established the District Mining Committee, and the District Mining Committee is also to see to the management of the mining in that jurisdiction. So we are ready. If the community is ready, they have the concession, and there is no problem destroying a forest reserve or a river body, we will be ready to commission it.
Reacting to the anticipated benefit of the community mine, the District Chief Executive of Amenfi West Municipality, Frederick Crunchy, said it provides a one-stop avenue for revenue collection for the municipality's development.
If this community mining can be sustained and you give us about 3-4 years, I hope our Francais community is going to develop from this 10%. If even the Francais alone can get about 3% of the 10%, is going to go a long way, and the assembly too is going to get revenue from that, and we will be able to, tax them. Unlike the Galamsey, where they do it, you can't go there and then tax them. They just get whatever they have and then keep it. Assembly cannot get anything from it. So if you have a community mining like this, where the assembly can also have a share in it, I think it's in the right direction.
Let's stay a little longer in the mining sector, as the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry has given the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation a 2-week deadline to fix its corroded Prestea Sankofa mines, or risk having the whole company shut down. A deputy minister for the ministry, George Mekuduka, actually visited the mining site recently and saw for himself just how bad things have gotten. He's concerned about the safety of workers, so he's ordering that repairs be done as soon as possible.
Prestea Sankofa Mines is one of the assets of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC. Sankofa does not carry out direct mining, but processes mining tailings from major mines as well as mining waste from small-scale mines, including Galamsey waste. After years of inconsistent operation, the GNPC-owned Prestea Sankofa mine is deteriorated in both plant infrastructure and the environment. The Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, George Mekuduka, after meeting Sankofa's newly appointed Managing Director and touring the plant, expressed disappointment and threatened to shut it down in 2 weeks if the necessary works are not done.
The gaps are many. Very unwarranted kind of corrosive materials around, and that are mostly rusted, and they need to be re-engineered and refabricated. The environment is not serene enough for mining. Looking at where it sits and those who are behind it, the GNPC. So I'm urging GNPC to quickly, as a matter of urgency, we either close it down or they get the place refurbished to meet standards. If you look at the clinic in itself needs medication. How would that clinic even prescribe medication to workers? Very unfortunate. And I have given them 2 weeks to get it renovated. Otherwise, we will come and shut the operations of Sankofa.
The newly appointed Managing Director of Prestea Sankofa Mines, Justice Aqua, who until his recent appointment was the personal assistant to the Western Regional Minister, in a response said, though they are doing their best, Prestea Sankofa is now facing competition from several tailing processing companies.
Speak is the fact that there are a lot of tailing companies springing up in the Western region. I personally do not understand why they all looking up to the Western region, because currently there are 13 out of the 16 regions in Ghana doing mining. So we in the past go all the way to eastern region, all the way to the northern region, upper east, upper west, to bring materials to process here. Why are the new companies or the regulators not giving licenses to people to also set up in those areas? Currently in western region around this enclave, I can count about 5 tailing processing companies, and we're all competing for the same material, and it is in a way affecting us. So we asking the Minerals Commission, the minister is here, I've already mentioned it in our engagement, that going forward they should put up a policy so that we don't all climb up at a place, but rather they can spread it across the country. We are not saying that we are afraid of competition, but then when there's distribution, it gives equal room for higher production.
I've got some news about the tourism sector in Ghana. So the Minister for Tourism, Creative Arts and Culture, Ibrahim Mohammed Awal, just announced that government is aiming to bring in over $3 billion through tourism this year. That's a pretty big goal, and they are planning on working closely with the Ghana Tourism Authority and other stakeholders to make it happen. In fact, they are hoping to attract around 1.2 billion tourists from both inside and outside of Ghana.
The tourism sector globally was ravaged by COVID-19 as a result of various travel restrictions and slow economic activities. In Ghana, this negatively affected players in the industry, including hoteliers amongst others. With the sector bouncing back due to the easing of restrictions, industry players are capitalizing on the revamp. Giving an overview of performance of the tourism sector in 2022, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Akwesi Agyeman, said the country's tourism sector has improved significantly post the COVID-19 pandemic, stating that Ghana experienced a 47% increase in international travels.
The past year, we have seen a significant increase in international arrivals to Ghana, with a growth of 47%. From 623,000 in 2021 to 914,892 in 2022. Whilst most African countries were doing 65% of pre-pandemic figures, Ghana did 81%. This is a testament to the success of the many strategies that we have put in place, such as the Destination Ghana program launched by His Excellency the President and our continuing effort through the Beyond the Return project to make Ghana the Mecca of the African diaspora.
Minister for Tourism, Creative Arts and Culture, Dr. Ibrahim Mohammed Awal, speaking at the launch of the Ghana Tourism Authority's 50th anniversary celebration and tourism report, underscored the Akufo-Addo-led administration's commitment to improve and attract tourists into the country in the coming years. He said his outfit, together with other stakeholders, is targeting a $3 billion revenue by the end of 2023, adding that the ministry remains committed to making tourism the biggest contributor to the country's GDP.
We are going to create 150,000 jobs in 2023. We will do it. So $3.4 billion in terms of tourism and 103,000 jobs in 2023 is our target. When we do next year, we will celebrate it. We will have it. Tourism is not just about hotels. It's about food, about music, about leisure, about entertainment. We are going to train about 6,000 people in the tourism sector this year to improve the quality. Like you said, quality is everything. If you make it quality, if you have quality, the tourists will only come and come again. They'll come back with their families and friends.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, also speaking at the program, highlighted the need to use Ghanaians in the diaspora to promote the country's tourism destinations while stressing the need for quality offerings in the tourism sector. Wading into the construction of the National Cathedral project, Yofi Grant added that there is nothing wrong with the country building the monument if it will attract tourist visits, while citing an example of a mosque in Abu Dhabi.
Recently, I was in Abu Dhabi for business, and I was surprised. I'm sure you all know the famous mosque in Abu Dhabi.
it has more visitors going there. In fact, there are multiple of visitors going there every year than we have totally coming to Ghana. And mosque, just a mosque. But why? Because everybody who comes, who goes there says, this is quality personified. The neatness, the ambience, the grandiose nature of it. So even though I will wage into something that many have, questions about, for me, there's not wrong thing having a national cathedral that will attract everybody to come to Ghana in Africa.
It looks like the National Insurance Commission's efforts to educate people about the importance of insurance is paying off. It has been focusing especially on income earners and property owners, and it seems like a lot of these folks are taking the message to heart and signing up to various insurance policies. The Commission is really happy about the development, and it's great to see that people are becoming more aware of the benefits of insurance.
Ghana is next to South Africa on the continent with a high number of income earners signing on to or acquiring insurance. According to data available from the National Insurance Commission, over 40% of income earners in Ghana have insurance. Commissioner of Insurance, Professor Justice Ofori, says his outfit is putting in mechanisms to improve the sector.
Last year, the statistics that we did, the research we did, we realized that now 44.4% of income earners in Ghana have some kind of insurance, be it the normal insurance or micro insurance. So it means insurance awareness is going far, and the confidence in insurance is also going far. During my small remarks, I made mention of the *920 *57 hash, *920 *57 hash. This is a short code that when you send and you follow the prompts, adding a vehicle's license plate to, you would know whether the vehicle has insurance or not. We want to demystify insurance. We want to get rid of the Goro boys so that if someone sells insurance to you, you have confidence in what you buy. So if you buy insurance, you are supposed to get a text confirmation on your phone, just like your ATM, you go to a bank to withdraw money. Before you get your money, you get a prompt on your phone. That is how insurance is right now. And all these things are there to actually create confidence in insurance and also make the ordinary person aware. If the ordinary person is aware, they know their rights. Gone are the days when we had the Goro boys taking people's money and nobody knew how to actually verify the authenticity of an insurance policy. It is the first step, but as Commission, we are going to build other softwares.
The Commission is thus intensifying its education on insurance and is targeting students in senior high schools.
To create awareness. And we've been doing it, but realize that the best approach is to actually send it to the secondary level. I mean, at the second cycle institutions, once the children grasp it, they can actually train or educate or inform their colleagues, their parents, and their siblings. Because insurance appears to be a little technical. And so if you don't get it at this level, it becomes a very difficult challenge. And we're doing this through the quiz. The quiz would actually motivate them to actually pick the study materials, read, and being competitive, they'll end up knowing. And for all you know, it could be a future profession for some of them. Yeah.
The Ghana Education Service has welcomed the initiative to target the younger generation to educate them on insurance through educational programs.
We are grooming them as we are giving them materials to learn, and we'll be meeting them so that they also learn the insurance, not the ABC of insurance. What is real insurance, so that at least they'll grow up with it. Because we have National Insurance Commission. What is National Insurance Commission? Is it just a company or what? Let the students know, so that at least anybody who graduating from free SHS, you know what is insurance. Not when a car crash, you say, oh, okay, insurance. No, 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 no. What is insurance? We have general insurance, we have disability insurance, life insurance, all those insurance. We should inculcate it in their learning, and it will help them grow up well.
12 selected schools in the Ashanti region will take part in the insurance quiz, which was launched in Kumasi.
It looks like the government is doing some work to make the Financial Stability Fund even better. This is really important because the fund can help banks that have been affected by the domestic debt exchange program by providing temporary liquidity and solvency. During the launch of the financial education campaign in Accra, a Deputy Minister of Finance, Abna Osei, talked about how the government is really focused on making the financial sector more resilient. It's great to see the government taking steps to support the financial industry in this way.
Government embarked on a domestic debt exchange program which closed on February 10, 2023 with over 80% participation of eligible bonds. The program has impacted many industries, including the banking sector. As part of efforts to bring some relief to the sector, government in December 2022 announced a 15 billion Ghana cedis financial stability fund to cushion the banks and other financial institutions against the shocks of the domestic debt exchange program. Speaking at the launch of the financial education campaign in Accra, the Deputy Minister of Finance, Abna Osei, said government is committed in making the fund more efficient.
Despite the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russian-Ukraine war, as well as the domestic debt exchange program, the Ghanaian financial sector remains resilient. It is a testament to the financial sector restructuring exercise undertaken by government way back in 2017. The Monetary Policy Committee in their latest release revealed that the banking industry remains relatively stable, despite recording some losses from the domestic debt exchange program. However, to further strengthen the sector and provide a stability backstop to the industry, government, in collaboration with the financial sector regulators, is working on the Ghana Financial Stability Fund. This is a standby liquidity and solvency financing mechanism to help mitigate the potential impact of government's debt operations on the financial sector. The fund will provide temporary liquidity and solvency support to licensed financial institutions that may face liquidity and solvency challenges arising from their participation in the domestic debt exchange program. This will provide further support to the financial institutions in addition to the various regulatory forbearances provided by their respective regulators.
Commenting on the need for financial education campaign in the country, Madam Abna Osei indicated that although the information penetration had surged, more efforts needs to be done on the financial capabilities of Ghanaians.
During a survey in 2010, we were made to realize that the kind of financial information penetration was 41%, which was very, very low. And this did not help individuals in making informed decisions concerning their financing. And so the government sought to improve it. And in 2015, realized that they were able to increase it to about, this literacy penetration went from 41% to 58%. But it was the target of government that this financial education penetration should increase about 85% by 2023. But as we speak, it's gone up to about 95%. So that penetration is there. But what we are talking about is financial capability. How capable are we to make informed decisions when it comes to our finances? So this is what the campaign is about. We launched it today. It's been translated into about 11 languages, and there will be town hall meetings and engagement in all the 16 regions to make sure we bring the knowledge of financial information to everybody, so that when anybody at all is making decisions on their financing, they'll be well informed.
It seems cocoa farmers in Ghana are really struggling with low payments for their cocoa beans. To address this problem, they are suggesting a reduction in cocoa production, which they believe will help to increase the price of the commodity. The farmers are really hoping that the measure will lead to a better payment for their hard work. It's tough to see farmers struggling like this, so hopefully this solution will help them to improve their situation.
The living standards of cocoa farmers in the country keep declining, with over 90% of them living beyond the poverty line. This, they insist, is because international corporations who buy the cocoa beans from them have for years ripped them off by paying them very little. They lament that despite numerous calls on the government to increase the selling price of the commodity, nothing has been done. The government is projecting the export of cocoa beans to rake in $4.1 billion for the country in 2025. However, Francis Tainor, the president of the Suhum Krabwa Kolta District Cocoa Farmers Association, believes reducing the production of cocoa will better improve chances of getting higher prices, which will eventually improve the livelihoods of farmers.
Government need to come in and intervene so that the cocoa that we export, we reduce the export, and once the export is being reduced, it also pushes them to increase the price. Going forward to farmers who have to reduce our production. But I think it will even appreciate government revenue. Because currently they are selling cocoa per ton, like $2,300 per ton. And we're able to beat down the quantity that we supply to the European market. And the prices increase like 3,000, 4,000. When you go like 4,000, it's almost 2 tons of a cocoa price that we'll receive. And it will also help the prices to go up. So once you don't consume your product and you want to push all to the European market, and they are also thinking that once they have done abundance, they have more than what they need. So they buy it at a cheaper cost. So looking at it, government even have excess of cocoa sitting at their end without getting buyers outside to come and buy. So that will not make the prices push up. And looking at the cost of production currently, if you said we will continue producing, based on either government to reduce in revenue or increase in revenue, and we wanted to base on that analogy, then farmers will continue losing. Better we plan, learn how to stock some of the cocoa ourselves, learn how to put them in production and consuming some, so that those that we send to the European market and the other Western world will be less.
Touching on the European Union's ban on export of cocoa from some West African countries, Francis Tainor stated that Ghanaian farmers are relieved by news that over 95% of the commodity grown in the country is safe from the EU ban.
I even believe it's more than 95%, because cocoa that can be found in the forest area, I believe it's less than 5%. So although initially those that are aware about those regulations were thinking that it was too harsh on them, because always they pass laws at the European market just to impose some restriction on farmers and make sure farmers do certain things in their favor as they want it. Although we have been talking about cocoa pricing and all those things, up to now they have not done anything about it at the European market. And the world cocoa price have been falling, whilst other commodities prices have been going up. So we believe that those regulations that they have been imposing on us is too harsh, and they have to rethink and rework about it. Although the 95% is also not a bad news for the farmers, but we on grounds believe it's even more than 95. We believe that even cocoa that will be at those selected areas will be even less than 5%. So I think it's not a bad news for us. We are happy that they also confirm that whatever we are saying is true, that most of our cocoa is not found in forest areas.
Well, that's all time will allow us for today's episode of the Business Weekly Show here on Citi TV, your most watched business show in the country. If you want more business stories, please visit our website, citibusinessnews.com. My name is Michael Ogodu. Let's connect on Twitter at Ogodu. Catch you same time next week. Stay safe, stay informed. Bye-bye.